A little bit different than what we normally do. We will not be having public comment. We will also not be doing board committee reports. The agenda is, I believe it's over the table. Okay, people want them. So the first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I call on Councilwoman Thornton to lead us in the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you also for bearing with us. We're a little bit late getting started tonight. Normally this board meets the first and third Wednesday of the month, but because of the holiday we moved it to the second Wednesday, and there was a conflict with the room, so we're a little late getting in here. So I do appreciate your flexibility. I know it gets late. Tonight, on Privilege of the Floor, we have guests joining us. We have Michael Lang and Jeremy Schaller to talk about a proposal for Winston Farm this year with regard to concert series this summer. So I'd like to introduce Michael and Jeremy and invite them to come forward to address the board. Yep, at the podium. Thank you.
Good evening. How are you?
Good.
Hi. We'd like to talk to town board and everyone present about doing a music festival on my family's property, and we partnered with Michael Lang here, who has exquisite festival experience. And yeah, we have dates set aside. We have a concept. We have the promoters here that have a very, very good understanding of what they want to do. And we talked to the police chief, and who's also been quite supportive.
Yeah, it's you know, as I've been sort of proposing for quite a while since Shallers and I got together to develop this idea. It's an old idea. It's one that we had after Woodstock '94. We had intentions of continuing with the Performing Arts Center, and life intervened, and so here we are 18 years later, finally getting to it. We propose to start off this season with at least one, maybe two events, and possibly a third in October. Beer Fest that we talked about. The first of these proposals is a festival called Counterpoint. It's being promoted by the gentlemen who have flown in for this evening from MCP Productions. They are partners with a company called C3 Productions, who are probably the premier festival promoters in America. It's in relative terms, for me at least, a very small event. It's probably under 20,000 people for the first year, and hopefully it will build over time. But we also thought it would be kind of good to start off with smaller numbers so that we can sort of acclimate everything and work out logistics with the site for future events which might be bigger. I'd like to introduce them, if you guys don't mind coming up. Jeremy Forden.
Jonathan Forden, MCP Presents. This is Brett, my partner. As he said, we've been doing this for about 12 years. We do festivals all over the country, and we partnered with C3 Presents, which is the largest independent promoter in the United States. They host 3 of the biggest festivals in America, 1 in Chicago and 2 in Texas. We're looking to do our event July 11th through the 13th on the farm. And as Michael said, we're looking at about 15,000 people the first year, but we definitely are excited about bringing it to this community and to their site because of the size of the property and obviously what this community has been able to do before and what you guys plan to do in the future. And we are very excited about making it our home. The first Counterpoint was this past September in Atlanta, Georgia. It was very, very successful. We did 20,000 people a day for 3 days. We had nothing but praise from the community at large, and security, police, medical, everybody involved. We made a presentation to about 16 people today at the police station. Everyone from state, county, and local police, fire, EMS, building inspector, and we seem to have everybody's support, and we're really excited about it. Mostly excited about the fact that we have a community to share it with. And putting on a festival like this creates a lot of economic impact, and we do a lot of our festivals in the middle of nowhere where there's not a community to really, get a positive impact from it. So for us, I think the most exciting part is definitely the fact that the community is right there, and we're in the town, and that we have the town support, and we'll be able to give back to the town for years to come.
I just want to say that one of the prerequisites for us in bringing events to Saugerties is to work with people who have done this before, who are professionals, who really know kind of what they're doing. We're not inventing the wheel this time. And these guys certainly fulfill that, so we thought this would be an ideal way to start things off. We're on kind of a short timetable because we're starting late this season. I think in 2014 we'll have a full season of maybe 4 or 5 events. As I said, this summer we're looking at a couple of events, but it'd be a good way to sort of get things kicked off and start bringing music to the area. So, if you guys have any questions for any of us, please feel free.
I understand today you had a productive meeting with our police chief, and they brought in several different agencies as well.
Yeah.
And I'd like to invite our police chief to comment on your meeting, if that's all right.
You know, first I have to say that our jaws dropped when we saw Michael Lang walk in today, along with MCP. And the reason being is a lot of people think about Woodstock 94. And I participated in that when I was working with the neighboring agency. And, you know, when you bring a large-scale event into any municipality, you have to expect there's going to be problems. And I think Michael knew that back in 94. And I think he spent the last 18 years, and I know MCP has, in perfecting when they bring a venue into a municipality. I have to tell you that my experience with Michael today with MCP was one that I can only brag about in a positive way. And I just want to share with you a letter from the Fulton County Sheriff's Office in Georgia where MCP had done a show this past October. To whom it may concern, I'd like to take this opportunity to discuss my agency's experiences working with MCP, Jonathan Ford, and his production team during the Counterpoint Music Festival, which took place in October this year on the Winston Farm in South Fulton County. This was one of 2 major music festivals that take place on this site over the last 5 years. Both were produced by MCP. During both events, I acted as a law enforcement liaison and agency project manager. Mr. Ford and his team used their vast experience and resources to produce a first-rate musical festival, one which we hope will return to our area in 2013. Prior to the start of the festival, the planning team from MCP took extraordinary time and effort to reach out to all stakeholders for input. The team placed great emphasis on addressing issues associated with mass gathering events, such as noise complaints, traffic congestion, internal security, medical concerns, communications, and community impact. From the very beginning of this project, the team from MCP practiced a synergistic planning concept with their government and community partners. Their goal was to make the festival a positive experience for both the community at large and those attending the festival. During the event, all issues such as noise complaints and excessive traffic congestion were immediately addressed, and available assets diverted to mitigate any impact on the community. As a result of these efforts, there was little or no negative feedback from either the surrounding residential or business communities, our neighboring jurisdictions. All codes and local ordinances were strictly adhered to. In all my years in participating, coordinating, and managing traffic and security operations as a police officer for sporting events, concerts, and festivals, I found the attention to detail, dedication of resources, and spirit of cooperation for this event one to be most proficient. We look forward to future music festivals managed by MCP and their subsidiaries in our jurisdiction and recommend them to other government entities that would have interest in the same. Now, the reason why I read this letter, and this is signed by Captain Brian Cassell from the Fulton County Sheriff's Office in Georgia, the reason why I read the letter is because we reached out to Captain Cassell. And because I'm always leery when I read a letter like this. It sounds like the guy's on the payroll. Well, I can assure you he's not on the payroll. And everything that he said in this letter, he reiterated to us over the telephone. MCP, when recommendations were made, rather than it falling on deaf ears, they responded. Money apparently wasn't an option. They addressed all issues that were brought up by both the EMS, the fire service, law enforcement, Department of Health, and any county requirements. Today's meeting, I found MCP to be very accommodating. I found all the gentlemen standing here behind me to be sensitive to the needs of the law enforcement community. Diaz Ambulance participated, so the EMS community was represented. We had the Department of Health, Paul Van Larkin from the Ulster County Sheriff's Office, Captain Nuzzo from the New York State Police. We had representation from our town board, Councilman Lenton. And at the end of the meeting, we came to the conclusion that these gentlemen are sincere. I don't think anybody's here to bamboozle us. As your police chief, I'm very confident that the security force that they're going to bring in, and it's going to be a rather large security force to work the site, is going to be one that's well experienced. I think they're going to be an asset to augment the law enforcement capabilities that we can bring to the table, along with the state police and the Ulster County Sheriff's Office. My recommendation would be to the board that they take positive action on this request. I think in these economic times that this is a real boost in the arm for Saugerties. I'm always somewhat at awe at the events that come to Saugerties, and I think that this is just another example that we're on the map. And to bring a music festival in, and again, this isn't Woodstock 94. This is a much smaller event. As one person had said earlier, it's just a blip on the radar compared to what Woodstock 94 was. I think this is a good trial for NCP. So I support their effort. I don't want to really speak for anybody else, but I did have a conversation with Captain Nuzzo before I came into this meeting tonight, and he stands behind that decision. He feels that this is a positive effort, and the same thing with Paul Van Larkin, the Ulster County Sheriff's Office. I did speak to the gentleman here behind me regarding payment in lieu of police services, and this is something that they've guaranteed us that they've already planned in their budget. So this is something that if we put extra patrols on, which we would be required to, this does not come out of the taxpayer's pocket. And I think that's important for everybody in this room to understand. I would suggest to the board that the approval is contingent upon the guarantee of payment, that it's contingent upon requirements that the mass gathering permit requirements are met, that health department requirements are met, and I think these gentlemen here behind me understand that, because that's something we spoke about at the meeting. If the board has any questions for me.
I do have a few. Is there an anticipated cost to the town?
There's going to be an anticipated cost. I haven't worked out the final numbers yet. And one of the things we have to take a look at, and I assume you're just asking me on the law enforcement part of it. The low end of it is if we use part-time police officers, and understanding that our obligation here is traffic, outside perimeter security, and assistance at the gate for entry. MCP brings in their own security staff. It'll be between 250 to 300, is that correct? Security officers, they are trained security officers. They have a zero tolerance on firearms and narcotics. If those items are found in a vehicle, and they will be searching vehicles of everybody that comes into the event site, those individuals will be arrested and turned over to the state police, the sheriff's office, and Saugerties police. With 3 agencies sharing responsibility, we can reduce overtime expenses. But going back, Madam Supervisor, to your original question, the final figures, I can give you a high end and a low end sometime tomorrow once I do the final figures. It's all contingent upon whether I can staff it with part-timers or if I'm going to have to use a combination of part-timers and full-time police officers.
Okay. And those costs will be picked up by the promoters?
That is correct, because I made it perfectly clear to the promoters that this is not something that is in the police budget. There is no money budgeted for the town of Saugerties for this event. They fully understand that, and when they bring these venues into other municipalities, as they did in Georgia, they do have a fund set aside for that because they realize that that's part of that goes with this putting on a festival of such size.
Sure. In case of an emergency, for example, I don't know, worst case scenario, a riot or something crazy happens, and we have to bring in a real force to take care of things. Would promoters be willing to put up a bond?
I'm going to let the promoters answer that question since I don't work for a company.
For unanticipated expenses.
I think to back up to the first question of the expenses, when we put on a show like this, and whether it's 10,000 people or 50,000 people, we do all sizes. Everybody is part of the team. So we don't look at it as the police is separate from us. His group and the other 2 groups involved are part of our team. We are We are one team. We are Counterpoint. So within that, all the expenses related to what the team is on the festival's budget. So if they wanted to have additional help outside of the festival, that would be on them. But anything related to the event is going to be part of our show. As I said, we're all one team. In order for something like this to work correctly, safely, and to operate efficiently, everybody has to be on the same team. EMS is in our budget. Our ambulances are in our budget. Our police, our security force are all in our budget. Taking that into consideration, the extra needs for the community that would be taken away by the event would also be covered. So we're not going to take ambulances from the town and leave the town with no ambulances. The cost of those ambulances will be replaced. That way the ambulance can be replaced for the town. The last thing that we would ever want is to pull any resources away from the community and put the community at risk. To touch on the bond, it's something that we mentioned earlier today and discussed, and I think we just have to come up with a comfortable number and situation, but by all means, anything that's related to the expense of the show, within reason, is going to be an expense of the show and is built within our budgets.
What about like access to water? I know, I mentioned this to Mr. Lang when he was at the chamber meeting a month or so ago. During the Woodstock Festival, there was additional, water sewer lines run in and put on the property. That was, many years ago. Now, are you going to be taking care of your own
We'll take care of all of our on-site needs. Basically, what we do is we build a city for 3 days. We can survive on that piece of property with no help from the outside world. If the rest of the country was in a mass casualty of some sort, our property would be able to survive. We'll have enough water on site to double the needs of the mass gathering requirements, which is 1 pint per person per hour on site. So we'll have enough. It's somewhere between 230 and 275,000 gallons. Depending on the number, if we end up selling 20,000 tickets, that number will rise. If we only sell 10,000 tickets, that number will go down. But it's all based on the formulas given to us by the state of New York. We'll bring in all potable water, all certified in Ulster County, and we'll do multiple water locations throughout the site. You have to have 1 spigot per 1,000 people available at all times with running water. We'll have at least 20 to 25 spigots at all times with available water, as well as the 1 pint per person per hour.
The health department will govern, excuse me. The health department will govern that portion of the application, I expect, right?
Correct, yeah. Part 7 of the mass gathering permit is the local Ulster County Municipality Health Department.
Yeah. No, I think it would be helpful, not only to us, but to the people who may be less familiar with it than we are, if you give us a sense of what a Counterpoint Festival would look like. If you're talking about an attendance of 15,000, we experienced more than that in 1 day at the Garlic Festival. So that gives the community a little bit of perspective on what it may look like.
Yeah,
you could share what the on-site might look like. And I don't know how your budget part is, but with an event like this, generally we view it that there's $8 benefit from every dollar spent in production. So that would give the community a sense of what the economic benefit may be that way.
Obviously on a first-year event, the economic impact is always up in the air. As I mentioned at the beginning, the exciting part for us is how much this community has to offer. Hotels, gas stations, grocery stores, the Thruway, everything about this community has a reciprocal dollar amount that goes with it. Our estimates are probably somewhere between $5 and $7 million of an economic impact on the area. But again, that's a total estimate. Post-event, we'll be able to actually, calculate that. Our partners, C3, their shows, Lollapalooza, for example, is 100,000 people in the city of Chicago. It's about $112 million economic impact. Now, granted, that's a much bigger city, a lot more hotels, and a lot more people coming to the show, about 10 times as much. But that just gives you kind of a judgment on what the impact would be. As far as the on-site and the build of the show, you have the Garlic Festival, which does about 20,000 every day in and out. We're a little bit different. Everybody comes and lives on our property for the 3 days. So the first night, the 11th, would be the day with the traffic. That would be the day that everybody loads in. We park all the cars and all the tents on site. So the entire community of Counterpoint lives and breathes on our festival site. And then Sunday, when it's over, they leave. We usually do between 80 and 90% of our people live on site, anywhere from 10 to 15%. Obviously changes based on the locations that we're at, how many hotels there are. We'll stay in the local hotels in the local community. We'll bring in somewhere in the range of 750 employees on the show. All will be staying in local hotels in the area. Obviously, we'll have to reach into other parts of Ulster County to get those kind of hotel numbers, most likely Kingston. But that kind of gives you a quick overview of it. Everybody will live on site. There'll be 3 to 4 stages. Music will be anywhere from 12 to 14 hours a day, depending on the final layout of the leave and go back, but they can't take their car out of the campgrounds.
Okay.
So if you want to leave and come back every day, you have to park in what we call day parking. You have to get a day parking pass. It sticks on the inside of your windshield. It's not transferable. Once it's on your windshield, it's on your windshield. You peel it off and it says void on it. So you'd have to apply for that. It's just like buying a ticket online. They pay $10. They get to park in the day parking lot. Otherwise, they have a car camping pass. They park in the campgrounds. Legally, we cannot hold anyone on site. They need to leave. We have to let them leave in an emergency. However, if you're in the campgrounds, you must get an escort by security out of the campgrounds because we don't allow vehicles and patron traffic to crisscross. So if you're leaving a patron area, you have to have an escort. You're not allowed back in. So if you leave, you go back into the beginning of the line, you go back through the full searches, and you get parked in wherever we are at that point. So if you were the first person in and you were this far in, then you left, you're going to end up being here. Your friends are going to be there, but you're going to be all the way at the, wherever we are at that point.
Okay.
And everybody that leaves or enters the site gets searched every time, whether on foot or by vehicle.
From what I had read from the information we received earlier, the food vendors, local,
Yeah,
you give local restaurateurs or local groups the option.
for sure. Our goal, as I said at the beginning, is to keep as much of it in the local economy as possible. As much of our labor will come from the local economy, as much of the security forces we can get from the local economy will come. Counterpoint, what the festival is about building around a community. In Atlanta, the show was all about Atlanta. We had an all-Atlanta restaurant section. We had an all-Atlanta food truck section. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to use all of Ulster County, obviously as much as Saugerties as we can for restaurants and food trucks and that sort of thing. So it will be built around as much of the community as possible. If we don't get the things that we need, then we'll step to some of our preferred vendors that we use all over the country and bring them in.
Well, Governor Cuomo stated the state address today. He really zeroed in on promoting the food and beverages that are common to New York. So, I mean, this is something just promoting New York State, the farm produce of the valley.
Definitely.
Right.
A farmer's market is something that we did at Counterpoint and something that we're going to discuss doing as well. This is Counterpoint Northeast, that was Counterpoint Southeast. We'll discuss doing a farmer's market. If it doesn't happen in the first year, it'll definitely be something that we grow into. We'll go with a national brand for beer, but we'll also use some local breweries of some sort. We'll do a microbrew area where we showcase local breweries. Might not all be in Saugerties, but we'll be in the upstate New York area.
Just also want to mention that this will be an over 18 festival, so there won't be people on site who are underage.
The average age for the show is between 18 and 32. It's split pretty well, 50-50, 18 to 22, and 22 to 32.
What about drug enforcement?
Drug enforcement, we have a zero tolerance policy, as the chief said. Our security will search every person as they enter the property, every vehicle, and anything that is confiscated. Let me rephrase that. Anything that is found will be discussed with law enforcement on how they want to handle it, whether we confiscate it, whether we arrest them, depending on the situation, the size, and what happens. It will be up to the police force, county, state, and local to decide what they want to do.
Turn it over.
Yep.
What, in addition to the music and the camping, are there other entertainment opportunities on site?
There will be. We do what we call extreme sports. So there'll be rock climbing walls. There'll be an airdrop, which is like a parachute simulator. We did at Counterpoint this year. We did some motocross, like not that the patrons interact with, but that they see. It all depends on what sponsors and what companies come on board. But there's definitely an interactive level to the show beyond the music and the camping. There'll be a Ferris wheel. There'll be some attractions like that. We promote activeness throughout the entire day. It's not just about the music and just about the camping. So we try to keep everyone active all day long as well as throughout the music.
Can you share the names of any of the music groups that you have committed at this point?
I definitely cannot. We could in private, but with media here and whatnot, I'm not allowed to say because of contracts and whatnot. Until we have the approval to announce it, then by all means we'll tell you guys before we announce it to the public. We have no problem with that.
The one thing that I took away from the meeting this afternoon was the fact that this isn't a one-shot deal, that you are looking to have an ongoing relationship with the town and make this happen every year for the next 20 or 30 years. And that, I think that means a lot to the community. I was real impressed with everything that I heard and I've read in your packet. I I saw one, there was one article about a disco where everybody's wearing headphones.
Yeah, so after a certain time at night, you know, a lot of these kids are still awake. Some of them come from the West Coast, they're on different time zones, some of them sleep all day and they stay up at night. So once we get to a point where we don't want the noise anymore, we do what we call our silent disco. It's usually between 1,000 and 2,000 headphones. And there'll be music happening, but there won't be any amplification. You have to put your photo ID in, check out a headset, and you actually get to wear the headset and dance around, and it's all within the headphones. Then you got to check it back in to get your ID back. To touch on what you said, we're definitely excited about coming here, and the biggest part of the excitement, besides having a community behind us, which is the best, and to us personally, the part that makes it the most exciting, but is the size of the venue and the ability to be able to grow. For a show like this to really be a viable option, 15,000 people doesn't really do it. You know, that's just the first year numbers. The goal is definitely to get to the 35,000 number and to be here for as long as you guys will let us. You know, if we can have a 50-year anniversary for Counterpoint, 50 years, that's going to be amazing. Most of the shows that we do are in there, you know, anywhere from 2nd to 10th year.
Might be different from Cal Board then.
Well, I'm sure it will be. But you know, our show in Dallas that we just finished over New Year's was 40,000 over 3 days. That's in its 5th year. We have one in New Orleans in its 2nd year, and one in Atlanta. It's been happening on and off for 5 years. So we're young, but we've also been doing this for 12 years, and we definitely don't plan on stopping anytime soon. So we're really excited to find a home for this event in the Northeast. Our partners at C3 are the ones that really pushed us to find a venue in the Northeast and to find a venue large enough for us to stay. The hardest thing for a festival is to move festival sites. You need a community, you need someone that lets you call it home, and you need everybody to succeed together and everybody to benefit from it. And that's definitely the most positive part about coming to Saugerties and not being out in the middle of nowhere. To us, this might seem like the middle of nowhere to the people in New York City, but to you guys, this is home and this is your town, and we're very excited to be part of it.
What are typical ticket prices?
They'll start in the 150 range for 3 days. They'll end somewhere around 200 depending on ticket sales. For a first-year event, we'll try to keep it under 200. Some of the bigger festivals in the country, Lollapalooza, Coachella, Bonnaroo, those are what we call the mega festivals. Those are between 200 and 300, which hopefully eventually we'll get to that point. But you know, we're going to stick around the 150 mark at least for this first year. And you'll get, you know, we'll have somewhere, what, 85 acts probably over 3 days. So, you know, for $150, you can see 85 different artists. And I was mentioning at the meeting this afternoon, the reason why music festivals have taken off in America is really because of the economy. We actually saw our highest spike in ticket sales when the economy was at its lowest. And that's because it's a better investment for the consumer to spend $150 and have 3 days of immersive music with 85 acts than to go spend $65 to go see 3 hours of music and back. You know, so it's actually turned into an investment for the client. They get more out of it. So at the end of 2008, when the economy was really starting to be at its worst, our theater shows and our arena shows went down, but our festival market went up, and it really hasn't slowed down. The festivals have been doing better and better, and as you can see, there's more and more festivals popping up in America, and more of the sheds, amphitheaters, sheds is what we call them, closing down because they just can't handle the overhead.
As far as approvals needed, I kind of have a short list, but I'm not sure that it's conclusive. And those are the concerns that I have. You need a mass gathering permit, Department of Health approval. I'd like our town attorney to sign off on it. You know, we need to talk about a bond, and police department sign off. Not sure if there's anything else we need.
That's unless you guys have
the
other.
list I have.
Yeah, unless you guys have other rules and regulations, we need the state mass gathering, which is Part 18. We need the county mass gathering, which is Part 7. Town approval, and emergency services approval, which is really up to the town. If we get the mass gathering from the county and the state, that's pretty much your emergency services approval.
You're going to be in the Centerville Fire District, so they would have to be aware of what's coming and make sure that they're comfortable. Okay. So
Yeah, Randy was at the meeting.
I spoke to Mr. Ricks on the phone a couple times this week, and he was at the meeting today, and met him after the meeting. And he definitely is on board and seems excited as everybody else was at the meeting today.
Very good.
Our goal, what we're trying to accomplish is, you know, by the mass gathering rules and regulations, in order to announce and advertise, you either have to have your permit or you have to have approval from the permitting offices to announce. So that's kind of where we're at right now. The bands and artists are all confirmed, as I mentioned, but not announced. And what we're looking for is approval to announce with the understanding that we have to go through all of those other approval processes, get our Part 7, get our Part 18, and then get the attorney sign off. And we're looking to be able to announce in the next 2 weeks, go on sale with the understanding that we've already began the process with all of the permits and everything in place.
I talked to George Redder today, and we went over on the phone, we went over the law, the mass gathering law. So you're looking for an initial approval, but it would be based on the A through L of our mass gathering law.
Correct.
So, and George Redder, he didn't see any problem with that.
It's actually the first statement in both parts of the mass gathering is based on approval is the only way that you can announce the show. So for us, it would be an approval contingent upon completing all of the paperwork and all of the items, which, as I said, we've been doing for 12 years. We're very well versed in it. We know what we're doing. We trust everybody that we met at the meeting today to cooperate with us and work through it. And we met with all of the different people that you mentioned on that list, obviously besides the town board, which is why we're here now.
What is the time frame that you guys can be successful with their ticket marketing? Do you need like a month, 2 months, 3 months?
No, we need usually for a new show, we need 6 months. 180 days is pretty much the cutoff date. Yeah, we're real close. I mean, like I said, we need to be able to announce the next 14 days max in order to make this multi-million-dollar show a successful business and viable for the next few years. Because if we don't, and we take too big of a loss, then we're not going to be coming back because we're not going to be able to pay the bills.
Could you have the application by the 23rd of this month?
Yeah, I mean, we can have everything into you as soon as possible. The major points of the mass gathering are already done. That's the engineering report, which is step 1. Then the government officials are supposed to review that, come back to us with questions, and then the rest of the pieces of the mass gathering happen and the show's being put together.
Well, I just say the 23rd, that's actually our next meeting.
Yeah, we can definitely have it done by then, no question. Our goal would obviously be to, I guess that's exactly 14 days from today. Our goal would be to be announced by then or on that day.
I have a question, not directed to you, but specifically to Mr. Schaller. I mean, going back over the last 8 years, you know, when we've talked about the uses for Winston Farm, and an entertainment venue has always been one of the things that have come up. Are you, as a senior member of the family, are you excited about this venture and the possibility of what could happen on the site?
Yes, I approve of it. It's a really good thing for the town, for the whole town of Saugerties. Michael did it before. It was successful. And with our new partners, who really are experienced at this, I think it was very successful.
Well, persistence has held off. Over, I mean, thinking about the discussions over the years of what you'd like to do with the property and how the town's been involved, so I'm sure this is very exciting for you.
I just want to say one other thing about what we were just discussing. The reason we're on such a tight timetable is because we are late for this year. We were hoping to be in position to start doing things like this last summer, but things took more time than we contemplated. So it's really critical that this can move quickly in terms of just them being able to get out there into the public. Obviously, the mass gathering permit will take the time that it takes, and all of those things have to be fulfilled, and they will. But if it's going to happen this year, then we really are on that kind of short timetable. To that point, I just wanted to inform you that we'll probably be coming to you in the next couple of weeks with a second event, which would be for August, mid-August. It'll be a little larger, probably around 30,000 to 35,000. We'll be sending you all the paperwork on that as it comes together, but as a heads up, that's also.
That could be under the same mass gathering.
No, it's a different promoter and a different organizations. They'll have to do their own, but they're also very, very experienced and used to doing these things.
Just to reiterate, so everybody in attendance knows, we're not asking to push a permit through quickly. We're not asking for anything out of the ordinary. We are just asking for the ability to be able to announce, to have the show be a successful business model, still following all of the rules and regulations and the timetable set in front of us by the state and the county. And we're very confident that over the next 60 to 90 days, every one of those pieces of the puzzle will be put together well in advance of all of the pre-event deadlines of 30 and 60 days.
So you're looking for a preliminary approval pending all the requirements being met?
Exactly.
All right, now we really need our attorney to go through it and just identify specifically, like I just want to make sure I have a complete list of the requirements. We've talked about some of them tonight, and I while I trust you, I also need to speak with my attorney.
Of course.
That's just, what we have to do. That's the procedure. So you're looking for a preliminary go-ahead?
Yeah, I mean, it's really, it's different in every town that we go to. The real part that has to have approval before announce is actually the mass gathering. We could announce a show and then you guys approve it on your own time and we're good to go. There's nothing in town laws that say we can't announce as long as the show isn't happening. But within the mass gathering, we can't announce unless we have approval to announce. So our thoughts and putting our right foot forward was to come to you guys, get preliminary approval, pending attorney approval, and pending county and state health approval. That way we know from your guys' end, we're good to announce. We spend the next 2 to 3 days working with county and state health department to get their pending approval, which allows us to announce, market, go on sale. We hold all the ticket sales back. If for some reason the permit doesn't go through, then we refund the show and nobody's at a loss there. But we're very confident in what we do and what our team does that we'll get the permits and do everything that you guys need as long as we can get the announce and get the tickets on sale.
It would be conditional. So, but just to step back now, I guess you just want to check in with other members of the board and see how they feel about it.
I would say, let's make a motion to give preliminary approval to the project itself, pending all the points of the local law be covered. Well, yeah, it's a conditional approval, pending.
They're not even asking us, you're not asking us to do that tonight, you're asking us to do that within
No,
the next meeting, like in 2
we'd
weeks.
like it tonight. That way we can move forward with everything else. If we waited to the 23rd, that sets us back 2 more weeks on doing all of the parts that don't involve you guys. Involving you guys and getting the approval doesn't mean the show is happening because the county and the state still have to give us the approval. But we don't really feel comfortable moving forward with those 2 pieces without the town knowing and the town approving. So we are asking for a preliminary conditional approval pending that all of the other parts and regulations, laws, and rules are set forth and followed.
I don't have a problem with that.
So the only part of that, if we offer conditional approval, we're basically approving you to announce.
Correct.
We're not approving you to do the concert or
Correct.
anything further than that. That all relies on the conditions of the permit.
Exactly. We're looking for approval to be able to market, announce, and go on sale with the show pending permit and approval process of the operations of the show.
Need a second.
Sorry.
No, because if something comes up that we can't address, we have the opportunity to say no.
Correct.
Okay. Well, okay.
Wonderful. Thank you very much,
Seems
guys.
like, I can't just say good. What I have to do is call a motion. So that's the next part. So it's just drafting.
We apologize it wasn't on the motion list. We thought it was going to be. There was just a bit of miscommunication. When I saw the...
I was misunderstanding you tonight. I thought you were asking us to consider that for our next meeting.
No, what we're trying to do is get ahead of the game and really, like I said, the only laws that limit us from advertising and marketing, like we can announce a show anywhere, just like you guys can announce a garage sale or anything at anybody's house, but they got to follow the rules and regulations. From a town standpoint, we can announce and advertise and go on sale. From a state and county health standpoint, we can't without written approval. So once we have approval pending from you, the other 2 agencies can give us the written approval, pending our permits, and then we're good to announce and go on sale. I'm not going to rush through any of the permitting process. It needs to be done correctly and efficiently.
It's a 2 to 3 month process.
Right.
Legislative,
It's a 60 to 90 days minimum turnaround.
So you're looking for a motion to give conditional approval for Counterpoint Concert Music Festival on the weekend of July 11th through the 17th. 13th, sorry. Pending, pending list.
Pending town attorney approval,
Yep.
state mass gathering part 18 approval, county mass gathering part 7 approval. And those are the only real approvals on our end that we have to have from a state regulated standpoint.
Right. Our attorney might want a memorandum of agreement or a bond or
Yeah, of
something like that. So there might be additional approvals that might be required. Okay.
Well, at some point, depending on what's developed, the attorney's going to present the agreement to us, and we'll have to approve that. This is just to get their ball rolling.
Correct.
Fred, can you turn on your mic and apply for the other?
Exactly, and you know, Brett lives in Denver, Colorado, I live in North Carolina, so it's not as easy for us to just come and be here, so we're all here, and the ball was rolling, and it was, like I said, unfortunately, we apologize, it was a miscommunication that we weren't going to be on for a motion today.
Okay. All right. I think I have a motion. I'll read it to the board.
Yeah.
And then if the board would like to give me feedback on it, we can modify it. I make a motion to give conditional approval to approve the Counterpoint Festival, July 11th through the 13th, pending town attorney memorandum of agreement. Conditions are met. Mass gathering permit, county mass gathering permit, potential bond, and other approvals as deemed necessary by the town board.
I second it.
All right. Any further discussion?
Can you read it again?
Okay.
Uh,
Actually, Lisa, can you read that?
Can the board
No.
add in Winston Farms as the location, just so it's clear for everyone? Which is 119 Augusta Savage Road, if you want the actual address.
All right. I'll read it again. I make a motion to give conditional approval to approve the Counterpoint Concert Festival, July 11th through the 13th at Winston Farm. And the address was 119
119 Augusta Savage Road.
Augusta Savage Road. Pending town attorney memorandum of agreement, MOA, mass gathering permit, county mass gathering permit, potential bond, and other approvals as deemed necessary by the town board.
Second.
So we're comfortable with the language?
How did you, Kelly originally presented it, Bruce seconded it.
So now we call for discussion.
Does the change in language need to be amended to make it proper?
We should just wrote it.
Okay.
Yeah, just wrote it. I am excited that you've chosen Saugerties as a venue. I'm delighted you're here. Saugerties is a remarkable community. We have wonderful, talented, skilled people. We have probably the best venue in the Northeast, in my opinion. We have mountains, we have water, we have a wonderful, hospitable town, and we are poised for growth. And so we are thrilled that you have chosen Saugerties as your venue. So I am delighted you're here. I think your proposal is really exciting. We are looking forward to working with you. I'm sure as we go through the process, numerous questions will be asked and answered, and hopefully you'll become a good partner for the long term.
Well, and thank you. We're very excited. As I said, we do this all over the place. We probably see 30 to 40 different venues every single year, and we only shoot a handful of them every year, and we're very excited about this venue. And most importantly, as I said a few times, the community at large is going to benefit from it and work with us on it.
Good. Any further discussion?
We are known as the festival town, so this will be
Well,
another star
that's
in the
perfect.
festival around here.
Thank you, board.
Alrighty. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
So that concludes the privilege of the board. Move on to the rest of our agenda. For the supervisor's comments, I will be offering a year-end report, which I'm going to present tonight. Good with the mic? Thank you, students, for coming. There they go. Okay. Good night, gentlemen. Thank you.
Hi, how are you? And I'll send you, yeah, I'll send you an email.
Nice to see you.
Mark, please.
Thank you.
Got a lot more stuff happening.
Yeah, good.
Jeremy, best wishes. We're excited. Thank you. Supervisor's year-end report. As one year begins and another comes to a close, it's important to take a few moments to reflect on accomplishments and set a course for the future. When I took office January 1st last year, I raised my right hand and promised to do my best work for this community. There were no official handoff, and I was brand new in my position as supervisor. I picked up the keys to my office and got right to work. My first action was to appoint Jimmy Bruno as deputy supervisor. He's doing a fine job this year, and I thank him for his support. Coming into 2012, we inherited a deficit fund balance, a backlog of unpaid bills, $1.3 million in uncollected grants. Primarily that was EPA funds from Kings Highway, and $3.1 million of infrastructure damage to repair from Hurricane Irene. Union contracts were unsettled, and there were outstanding grievances filed. Town and village police departments had recently completed a merger, and the police chief was retiring. The New York State Comptroller had cited the town for giving out no-bid contracts. Recreation programs and transportation were losing money. Town employees were using their own vehicles for work purposes, as new equipment had not been purchased. We got right to work and completed an accurate inventory of all town vehicles, equipment, buildings, and resources, and removed 25 pieces of unused equipment from the town insurance list. Outstanding unbudgeted bills for safety net and the town's 200th anniversary were cleared up.
Are you giving a political speech or are we here to do?
Nope, I'm almost done.
Jesus, it feels like a political speech.
Well, some of it were things we had to cover, and we took care of it. We have year-end funds available to settle up charges to
The board is not going to be given an opportunity for a report tonight, is that correct?
Excuse me?
The board is not going to be given an opportunity for individual reports tonight, that's correct?
Well, that was not on the agenda.
I understand, so you're going to say whatever you choose, and we are to stay within order, going to just have to sit here and listen.
If you'd like to make a comment, that's fine. Outstanding unbudgeted bills for safety net and the town's 200th anniversary were cleared up, and we have year-end funds available to settle up charges due to the Board of Elections for expenses incurred in 2010-2011. Our new highway superintendent, Doug Meyer, got right to work even before his official term began. 28 FEMA projects and emergency protective measures, which were paid for, were completed in-house by the Highway Department. 6 major FEMA projects were completed. Closed roads and bridges were opened, including Manorville Bridge, Kate Yeager Temporary Access Road, Kate Yeager Bridge, Van Camp, Tompkins Corners, Van Camp Site 2, Hemlock Lane Drainage, which was a non-FEMA project. These were all repaired and reopened. The police department got a new chief, Joseph Sinabra, who has worked to promote professionalism, community policing, enhanced training and safety. The detective division was expanded, and an additional sergeant position was added to create better supervision on shifts. A new police dog was obtained after the former dog passed away. Employee drug testing was expanded and enforced. Our well-loved receiver of taxes, Peg Now, retired this year, and her deputy, Suzanne Filek, was appointed and then elected to fill a vacancy. We pause to sadly acknowledge the passing of dear friends and mentors, former Village Mayor Yarrick and former Highway Superintendent Bernie Ellsworth. Their contributions will be long remembered, and they will be dearly missed. Town Justice Wendy Ricks resigned, and the board appointed Claudia Andreessen to fill her position. Justice Andreessen ran for election in the fall and was elected to her position in November. A delegation from India toured our transfer station, as it was identified as an international model for small communities. At the transfer station, we began selling compost that was made from wood chips and debris from Hurricane Irene. Local laws prohibiting the sale and possession of synthetic drugs and paraphernalia were also adopted. By taking the lead on this legislation, we were able to influence regional and national policy to protect society from the effects of these dangerous substances. Outstanding grant applications were reapplied for so that we can complete infrastructure work on Tissel Road and upgrade our plant operations for sewer and water delivery. A comprehensive funding application grant was awarded for ballpark lighting at Cantine Field. High deductible health insurance plan was instituted to save on medical costs. 42 roads were added to the New York State CHIPS Consolidated Highway Improvement Projects through the New York State Thruway Authority funding system to better fund repairs of town roads. New offices and training space were added to the Highway Department. A purchasing and procurement policy was adopted. Union contracts and grievances were settled. Contracts were bid out for town general insurance, employee health insurance, employee dental insurance, transfer station refuse, cell phones, vehicle and equipment purchases and leases, police cars, and FEMA restoration work projects. The Ready to Go program was initiated in collaboration with Ulster County, the town of Saugerties, and the town's planning board. creating the county's first pre-approved site plan for industry, located on Kings Highway Industrial Zone. Ceres Technology was awarded a $20 million contract to develop solar manufacturing components, and Diamond Mills Hotel opened to the public with a ribbon-cutting ceremony in February. Other local businesses also opened their doors this year. W. Couture, Brian Bauer Pickles, Dry Goods, Cherry Blossom Boutique, to name a few. Greg Chorvis was honored by the Rip Van Winkle Council of Boy Scouts as an outstanding citizen for his contributions to youth recreation, and Ulster County Chamber of Commerce also bestowed upon him the title of Irishman of the Year. Canton Complex Main Road was repaved with help from the Highway Department. We are also delighted to receive the gift of a training harness from the Vanderbeck family for the Kiwanis Ice Arena. We fought hard against releases from DEP that polluted the Esopus Creek, and are working to hold DEP accountable for the impacts on the environment. In the fall, we responded to the threat of Hurricane Sandy by coordinating resources between the town, village, county, and the well-trained emergency responders from our fire companies and ambulance squad. The hurricane's biggest impact was a storm surge that corresponded with high tide and impacted families living along the Hudson River and on the Esopus Creek. Following the hurricane, there was much work to be done, cleaning up and assessing damage, and assisting people to apply for FEMA assistance. A debt of gratitude is due to all who responded to the call of community service to help our neighbors during this traumatic event that caused significant property damage. While there was much good and necessary work done, there were also projects that didn't pass muster. A for-profit sports complex requesting a full tax exemption with an anonymous funding agent was proposed for Canton Park, and a housing development was proposed in Glasgow. That was opposed by the public and ultimately went unfunded. We have a lot to look forward to this year. We have a new state senator representing our district, though who that is still an unsettled matter. Our long-serving hometown Congressman Maurice Hinchey retired this year. We thank him for his years of service and wish him well in his retirement. We look forward to working with our newly elected Congressman Chris Gibson. Our CFA funding grant will come in, and the Canton baseball field lighting project will be completed, opening up the possibility for a minor league baseball team to have a home in Saugerties. One more bridge repair from Hurricane Irene is left to be completed. This one is taking a little longer as it's being done as in an historically accurate way. That is the Sachs Lodge Road Arch Culvert. A women's bicycle race is on the horizon, with female racers from all over the Northeast coming to ride for this event on Mother's Day. A concert series at Winston Farm and plans for an Oktoberfest are taking shape. Sawyer Motors is sponsoring a 2-day car show this year. We can't wait for the return of Ulster County Chamber of Commerce's Wing Fling and the Hudson Valley Garlic Fest, sponsored by the Kiwanis Club. There's also recent local interest in starting a Saugerties Crew Rowing Club and a BMX track. The Saugerties Animal Shelter is getting major facelift this year with a nice new addition. All of this is being done with volunteer donations, and the carpentry labor is being fully donated by Guy Monfett. A marker has been designed for Town Hall to designate it as named after Colonel Roger Donlin. A private fundraising initiative is underway to raise funds for this, spearheaded by Sonny Solito. Other plans for this year include requesting the takeover of Bristol Beach from the Palisades Park Commission. We're also looking forward to the completion of Kierstead House's Dutch Barn. Infrastructure improvements will take place on Meldon Turnpike to create a second industrial corridor. The Thruway Authority will be putting in a water line. Spring CFA grant will be applied for to run a sewer line. Highway will address drainage issues that are certainly needed. They've been historical problems, and a large amount of paving will get done. We've been looking for ways to improve the facility at the Glasgow sewer plant. The site needs new windows and new sewer press machine. In Meldon, the water tank needs relining. An EPA grant for 55% has been approved for these projects, but it means that we will have to bond the 45% local share. This was originally from the Kings Highway grant. It was money left over. New York State DOT has set aside funds to establish a paved park and ride area at the southbound Thruway exit. The Tourism Committee will begin its first year as an independent committee and will work with local groups and businesses to coordinate promoting Saugerties events and enhance economic development. We'll also be evaluating the possibility of granting medical income exemptions for seniors and people with disabilities to allow them to remain in their own homes. Work is currently underway to create an employee handbook and a personnel manual. Just this week, the assessor's office moved out of a rickety temporary building into a permanent, more efficient, newly renovated space adjacent to the building department. Plans are underway to remove the temporary building and create a new entrance to Town Hall that will be more accessible for people with disabilities. This past year, we worked hard to tackle problems, and it would not have been possible without a dedicated team of people committing to making Saugerties a better place to live. I would like to thank the town employees and department heads for the outstanding work they do. In particular, to recognize the interdepartmental cooperation that enabled us to fully utilize town resources in order to provide the most efficient use of personnel, equipment, supplies, and enables us to stretch our budgets to the biggest impact from our expenditures. There had also been wonderful cooperation with the Village of Saugerties, and my thanks to Mayor Murphy and village employees and village board. I'd like to thank the individuals that have stepped forward to serve on committees as volunteers because they care so much about our community. Thanks are also due to the Saugerties Town Board members for tackling problems and demonstrated leadership with their respective departments and committees, and for answering calls and taking action to make the lives better for all the people who live in our community. Special gratitude is also due to my secretary, Terry Wood, who's been an incredible resource and provided invaluable office support. I saved my favorite for last. I'd like to thank the local organizations for stepping forward and contributing so much to Saugerties. Your commitment to our community makes Saugerties stand apart as a unique and truly wonderful place to live. Thank you. That's what I have for supervisor comments. I'll move on to approval of minutes. I make a motion to approve pre-board meeting minutes of December 12th, 2012, and town board meeting minutes of December 12th, 2012. Is there a second? Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Aye? All right. Approval of bills. Okay. Presenting bills tonight. General fund, $236,790.88. General outside village, $8,289.60. Highway, $35,996.10. Capital project 0, ambulance district 0. Lighting district 0. Berkeley Heights sewer, $428.46. Glasgow sewer, $2,568.59. Malden sewer, $1,467.87. Glasgow water, $1,656.92. Malden water, $305.84. Trust and agency, $324.89. And the total is $287,829.15. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries. Thank you. All right. Councilman Costello had asked to make a statement. Okay. All right. We'll move on to motions and resolutions. I'll make the first one. I make a motion to designate the Saugerties Times as the official newspaper of the town of Saugerties pursuant to section 64(1) of town law, and to designate the Kingston Daily Freeman and Saugerties Post-Star as additional newspapers for the publication of such notices, resolutions, and ordinances at the option of the town board for 2013. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Carries. Thank you. I make a motion to appoint as official bank for the town of Saugerties, M&T Bank, Key Bank, and Bank of America for 2013. Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Can I just make a comment?
Sure.
We're recording the meeting, and if folks in the audience wish to have a private conversation, if you could have it out in the hallway, because it might be getting picked up on the microphones over here as background while the meeting's going on. So just to request that if you're going to have a conversation, have it in the hall.
Thank you. Okay, so back to Key Bank. We had a motion, we had a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries. Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint George Redder, an attorney for the town of Saugerties, to handle all legal work for the zoning board of appeals, the planning board, actions in which the Saugerties town board is involved, an involved agency, seeker purposes, highway department, FEMA, and all responsible for motions and resolutions required by the Saugerties town board for 2013.
Seconded by Councilman Bruno. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint John Greco as an attorney for the town of Saugerties for the purpose of handling prosecution of animal control, building inspector, police department, HUD will be responsible for working with the assessor's office in all tax cases, will be responsible for all legal work required in the water and sewer district, and will be responsible for motions and resolutions required by the Saugerties Town Board for 2013.
Second. Any discussion?
We didn't include an hourly rate. Is that an oversight? or-
It's not our oversight. Previously, this is under discussion, previously, the hourly rate was $125. During our board workshop sessions, we had talked about doing a retainer agreement, and we will be negotiating the retainer agreement. It'll be $125 as it had previously been until we
Until we put it
a
established,
retainer.
because we haven't
Yeah.
established retained.
We have not established that. That's why.
But the current rate will be 125 until that is
Yes,
established.
the same thing for
The
attorney renner as well. I'd like to establish that. And I had conversations with Attorney Greco, and he was comfortable with that.
Very good.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries. Thank you. I make a motion to appoint Gary Newkirk, who is an associate with Pattison, Kosky, Howe, and Bucci CPAs, PC, as the town of Saugerties accountant for the year 2013. Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Audrey Kuchenberg as the town Saugerties historian for the year 2013.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries. Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Renier and Larios as the town of Saugerties engineers for 2013.
For a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carries.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Alex Nahow as Information Systems Support Consultant, an hourly rate of $50 per hour for the year 2013.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries. Thank you.
Motion to appoint Daniel Schuster as the town Saugerties consulting planner for the year 2013.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Supervisor Kelly Myers as the Civil Defense Deputy Director as requested by Ulster County Emergency Management for the town of Saugerties for 2013.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries. I make a motion to appoint Lisa Stanley, Saugerties Town Clerk, as Register of Vital Statistics for 2013.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries. I make a motion to approve the weekly expense vouchers be submitted for auditing to the Town of Saugerties bookkeeper by the Friday prior to the scheduled town board meeting, and that all claims or vouchers must be accompanied with purchase bills or receipts of purchase items and initialed and signed by department heads where applicable. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries. I make a motion to have the Saugerties Town Board meeting start at 8 p.m. at the Frank D. Greco Senior Center on Market Street in Saugerties for 2013, on January 9th and 23rd, February 6th and 20th, March 6th and 20th, April 3rd and 17th, May 8th and 22nd, June 12th, July 17th, August 14th, September 4th and 18th, October 2nd and 16th, November 6th and 20th, and December 11th. For a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries. One opposed? Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the following dates for the town offices to be closed in 2013. January 1st, 2013, New Year's Day. January 21st, Martin Luther King Day. February 12th, Lincoln's birthday. February 18th, President's Day. March 29th, Good Friday. May 27th, Memorial Day. July 4th, Independence Day. September 2nd, Labor Day. October 14th, Columbus Day. November 5th, Election Day. November 11th, Veterans Day. November 28th, Thanksgiving Day. November 29th, day after Thanksgiving. December 25th, Christmas Day.
Second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the town Saugerties supervisor to designate use of her signature stamp where deemed necessary according to the town law section 2930.
Is there a second? Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
I'd like to make a motion to approve a charge of $20 on each check tendered for payment and return for insufficient funds according to Section 85 of the General Municipal Law.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries. Great. I'm going to make the next motion, and it's one long one, and I'll just read them all as a group. To appoint the town board members to serve as liaisons for the following: HUD, Leanne Thornton; Parks, Recreation, and Buildings, Fred Costello; Transfer Station, Jim Bruno; Justice Court, Bruce Layton; Building, Zoning, and Codes, Bruce Layton; Planning Board, Bruce Layton; Zoning Board of Appeals, Bruce Layton; Police Department, Fred Costello; Assessors, Kelly Myers, Jim Bruno; Water and Sewer, Jim Bruno; Dog Control, Kelly Myers and Jim Bruno; Public Cable Access, Leanne Thornton; Historian, Leanne Thornton; Conservation Advisory Committee, Leanne Thornton; Economic Development and Tourism Committee, Kelly Myers and Jim Bruno; Library, Leanne Thornton; Diaz Ambulance, Jim Bruno; Comprehensive Planning Committee, Leanne Thornton; Boys and Girls Club, Jim Bruno; Ethics Committee, Bruce Layton; Historic Preservation Commission, Jim Bruno; Property Assessment Advisory Committee, Kelly Myers; Biodiversity Assessment Team, Leanne Thornton; Historical Society, Leanne Thornton; Senior Education Committee, Life Spring, Leanne Thornton. I'm crossing out Budget and Finance for now. That might come back to the board in the future. Emergency Services, Kelly Myers. Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries. I make a motion to approve the Town of Saugerties procurement policy as on file as required by General Municipal Law, Section 104B, which we revised on January 1st, 2012. Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
I'd like to make a motion to re-adopt resolution number 94-241 as on file, dated December 21st, 1994, modified on February 4th, 2004, which approves the Town of Saugerties investment policy as it conforms with General Municipal Law, Section 39.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the list as on file of 2013 part-time police officers as per the recommendation of the Town of Saugerties Chief of Police.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint the list as on file of 2013 part-time police dispatchers as per the recommendation of the Town of Saugerties Chief of Police.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Carries.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint the list as on file of 2013 school crossing guards as per the recommendation of the Town of Saugerties Chief of Police. Did I just do that one? Okay.
Yeah, they're different. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint the following individuals to serve on the Recreation Advisory Committee for the year 2013. Gladys Hutton, Priscilla Orr, Kevin Pendergast, Joe Gavner, William Crean Jr., Rich Kogel, Mike Tiano, Joe Quirk, and honorary member Dean Fabiano.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint the following individuals to serve on the Conservation Advisory Commission for 2013. Brian Sawchuck, James Barber, Josh Randall, Jerry Marzak, Marianne Worsland, Clifford Tinkin, Steve Guerin, and Elizabeth Schaefer.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint the following individuals to serve on the Water and Sewer Advisory Committee for 2013. Werner Hegner, Rocco Petrofasa, John Paul, Sandra Petrofasa, Pat Lambert, William Ashmore, and Doug Pettit.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint the following individuals to serve on the Cable Access Committee for 2013. Paul Van Schack, Barry Carr, Ernie Montezans, Sue Rosenberg, and Matthew Phillips.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint the following individuals to serve on the Economic Development Committee for 2013. Alicia McCabe, Jerry Shackney, Erica Crum, Steve Hubbard, and Steve Guerin.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint the following individuals to serve on the Tourism Committee for 2013. Marjorie Block, Nigel Redmond, Mark Smith, Miriam Adams, and William Yosh Jr.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Marjorie Block as Chair of the Tourism Committee for 2013.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint the following individuals to serve on the Comprehensive Planning Committee for 2013. Patrick Fitzsimmons, Stanley Stroff, Josepha Basoulis, Barry Benefi, Carmine Gramolia, Samantha Diedrich, Susan Weeks, Steve Hubbard, Robert Diedrich, and Naomi Rothberg.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Audrey Quickenberg as Secretary to the Historic Preservation Commission for 2013 at a rate of $10 per hour.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint the following individuals to serve on the Biodiversity Assessment Team for 2013. Jerry Marzak, Sarah Mecklem, Dan Weeks, William Trumper, Mark Knaus, and Diana Harris as an honorary member.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries. I make a motion to appoint the following individuals to serve on the Property Assessment Advisory Committee for 2013. Jamie Fine, Elson Burhans, Francine Heinley.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint the following individuals to serve on the Senior Education Committee, better known as LifeSpring, for 2013. Susan Puritz, Maya Rothberg, Barbara Kaisik, Richard Phillips, Bob Saturn, Alpha Reed, Fran Jacobson, Arzie McGowan, Marjorie Greenberg Vaughn, Marv Beach, Roberta Gabner, Sandy Stoyich, Matt Stoyich, Joe Chernesky as an honorary member.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Your ayes. Anybody all in favor? We're still going? Okay. Any opposed? Carries. Bruce, you're up.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint the following individual, Jeannie Goldberg, to serve on the Zoning Board of Appeals with a 5-year term that expires in 12/31/17.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
Motion to appoint Jeannie Goldberg as Chair of the Zoning Board of Appeals for 2013.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
Motion to appoint Ryan Sawchuk as Vice Chair of the Zoning Board of Appeals for 2013.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Carries.
Motion to appoint the following individual, Howie Post, to serve on the Planning Board for a 7-year term that expires 12/31/19.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
Motion to appoint Howie Post, Chair of the Planning Board Committee for 2013.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
Motion to appoint William Crean as Vice Chair of the Planning Board Committee for 2013.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
Motion to appoint Don Avalon as alternate to the Zoning Board of Appeals with a 5-year term to expire 12/31/17.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
Motion to approve the standard IRS allowance for mileage reimbursement at the rate of 56.5 cents per mile, effective January 1st, 2013.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
Motion to appoint Kathleen Blundell as the Zoning Board of Appeals Secretary for 2013 at a monthly pay rate of $300.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries.
To appoint, motion to appoint Juanita Wilsey as the Planning Board Secretary for 2013 at an hourly rate of $15.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Carries. Okay. Any opposed? Sorry. Didn't say opposed. Nobody opposed. Motion to hire Vernon Benjamin as per diem special project and grant writing employee at a rate of $35 per hour and under the direction of Supervisor Myers for 2013. For a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries. Motion to authorize John J. Greco Esquire as attorney for the town of Saugerties to settle the pending real property tax assessment review proceeding in the matter of the application under Article 7 of the real property tax law by Winston Farm's limited partnership petitioner versus assessor of the town of Saugerties Board of Assessment Review of the town of Saugerties, Ulster County, New York, and the town of Saugerties, New York, respondents pending in Ulster County Supreme Court, index numbers 11-3141 and 122516, in accordance with the stipulation of settlement on file with the assessor of the town of Saugerties. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
I'd like to make the motion to approve the following salaries for elected officials for 2013. Town Supervisor, $35,000. Town Clerk, $39,599. Town Highway Superintendent, $53,258. Town Board members, 4 of us, $10,000 each. Receiver of taxes, $37,758. And town justices, which are 2, at $26,250 each.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries.
I'd like to make a motion to approve a 3% raise for 2013 for the following employees who are not covered under any town agreements: Debbie Martino, Kate Blondell, Marie Post, and Terry Wood.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize an increase in pay up to 25 cents per hour and subject to department head approval for town of Saugerties part-time employees for 2013. They're not represented in any labor management agreements, effective payroll following notice to accounting.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Carries. I make a motion to reappoint Stephen Gackenheimer as Deputy Highway Superintendent for the year 2013 at a rate of pay equal to the position of lead man, that being $23.50 per hour for the year 2013, as per the memorandum of agreement between the town of Saugerties and the International Brotherhood of Teamsters Union, number 445, plus $112 per week stipend. Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Marjorie Block as a per diem grant writer for the town of Saugerties at the rate of $20 per hour for 2013.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
Motion to approve the resolution is on file authorizing the supervisor to enter into temporary drainage easements on River Road.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Supervisor Kelly Myers as a delegate for 2013 annual meeting of the Association of Towns of the State of New York.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries.
I'd like to make a motion to approve switching the dental plan from Solstice to Delta, which will be administered by Knocker Auto Insurance effective February 1st, 2013.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries. I make a motion to appoint James J. Bruno as the Town of Saugerties Deputy Supervisor for 2013. Is there a second? Any discussion?
That's at your discretion.
Okay.
Congratulations, Jim.
Congratulations. It's nice that you were seconded. I make a motion to appoint Randy Riggs as Emergency Services and Preparedness Coordinator for the Town of Saugerties for 2013. He served us so well with Hurricane Sandy, and he's done an outstanding job. I'm delighted to appoint him.
Is that a motion, Lisa?
Yeah. So those are the two appointments I have. And at that point, we can entertain a motion to adjourn. Next scheduled meetings, I'll read those off. Wednesday, January 23rd, 2013. Pre-board is at 7:30, public hearing 8 p.m. for the Saugerties property rezoning. Town board meeting following the public hearing. Wednesday, February 6, 2013, pre-board meeting 7:30, town board meeting 8 p.m. Thursday, February 7, 2013, public hearing 6 p.m. As for the Saugerties property rezoning, that requires 2 public hearings. Your motion to adjourn? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carried. Thank you very much. This was a long meeting, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you.